People think rain is peaceful, soft, calming, a gift from the sky. But in some places in Asia, rain is not a blessing. It is a warning. There is a forgotten village, far from the noise of cities, hidden between mountains and mist. No maps show it clearly. No signs point the way. The people there never speak about what happens during heavy storms, because speaking about it feels like inviting it back. They say that when the rain becomes too strong, when thunder shakes the sky and the clouds cover the moon completely, a house appears, not built, not discovered, appears. The house doesn't exist during sunny days. It does not stand on any foundation. There are no neighbors, no road leading to its door. But when the rain comes in violent waves, the house stands quietly among the trees, with one dim light shining from inside. The strange part? Only certain people can see it. And once you see it, you start to feel drawn to it, like a whisper pulling your feet forward. This story is about a man named Kenji. Kenji was an ordinary man, a quiet worker. He didn't believe in ghosts, he didn't believe in curses, and he definitely didn't believe in myths whispered by villagers who were afraid of their own shadows. Until the night the rain changed everything. That night, the storm was heavier than any storm in recent memory. The wind howled like something alive, angry, searching. Trees bent as if bowing to an invisible presence. Kenji had lost his way on a forest road. His phone had no signal. The sky was completely dark. Only flashes of lightning gave him brief moments of vision. Then he saw it, a warm yellow light, between the trees, not flickering, waiting. As he stepped closer, the shape became clearer. A small, old-fashioned house, wooden walls, a tiled roof, and a front door that looked welcoming. But there were no footprints in the mud, no sound from inside, only the quiet sound of rain hitting the roof. Kenji felt cold, not from the rain, but from a strange feeling in his chest, like the house had been expecting him. He had two choices: turn back and face the storm, or knock on the door. And for the first time in his life, Kenji knocked. The moment Kenji's hand touched the door, it began to open slowly. He didn't hear a lock click. He didn't feel resistance. The door moved as if it had been waiting for that single touch for years. Inside, the air was warm. Too warm. The smell wasn't of old wood or dust, but of something clean, like fresh rain, even though the rain was already outside. The room was small: a wooden table, 2 chairs, a shelf with old objects, and photographs, dozens of photographs hanging on the walls. At first, Kenji thought they were normal pictures, villages, forests, mountains. But then he stepped closer, and his heart dropped. The photos were of him walking down streets, him sleeping on a train, him tying his shoes that morning. Photos taken from angles no normal person could stand. High corners, behind windows, between trees. He felt his hands shake. His reflection appeared in a cracked mirror on the wall. But something was wrong, very wrong. His reflection was smiling, and Kenji wasn't. The reflection lifted its hand. Kenji did not. A slow, heavy fear filled his lungs. He could hear the rain hitting the roof harder now, like claws, like fingers, like something trying to get in. Behind him, the door closed quietly. No slam, no sound, just closed. And from the ceiling, a quiet whisper began to form. Not a clear voice, not a scream, just a breath near his ear. It said, "You finally came back." Kenji slowly turned back toward the walls. His eyes moved from one photo to another. And then he realized something that made his stomach tighten. Some of the photos showed places he had never been before. A narrow road surrounded by fog. A train station he didn't recognize. A hospital hallway painted in pale green. And in every single one, he was there, but older, tired, different. One picture showed him standing under a broken streetlight, staring directly at the camera. Another showed him sitting alone on a train, his face empty, his eyes lifeless. Another showed him standing in the rain in front of a grave. His own name carved into the stone. The reflection in the mirror began to move on its own. It stood up straighter, it stepped closer, inside the glass, and its smile grew wider. The whispering returned, softer now, closer. It is not a future, it is a memory. Kenji's breath became slow and shallow. He could feel his heartbeat in his ears. In the corner of the room, under a flickering oil lamp, he saw another door, smaller than the front door, darker, stained by moisture. There was a faint trail of muddy footprints leading toward it, but they weren't leading away. They were leading in. Kenji felt something pulling at his body, not with hands, not with force, but like gravity itself had changed direction. The photos on the walls began to sway slightly, even though there was no wind inside the house. The reflection tilted its head and spoke without moving its lips. "You already opened this door once." Kenji slowly reached toward the handle of the small door. His fingers wrapped around it, and suddenly, he heard footsteps behind him. Inside the house, Kenji froze. The footsteps were slow, heavy, wet. Each step sounded like it was being pulled out of thick mud. But when he turned around, there was nobody there. The room was empty again. The chairs were still, the table untouched, the photographs perfectly still. The door behind him remained closed. The whisper came back, but this time from inside his own head. "You left us." His breathing became tight. His chest felt heavy. The small door in front of him began to creak softly, not opening, just breathing. The muddy footprints started to move. They weren't fading. They weren't growing. They were shifting, slowly turning toward him, aligning, pointing directly at his feet. The mirror cracked slightly, a thin, quiet sound. The reflection raised its hand and touched the glass from the other side, where Kenji's hand was not. The reflection's smile faded. Now it looked tired, sad, almost pleading. "You weren't supposed to forget." The rain outside grew even louder. Thunder rolled across the sky. The house gently trembled like it was reacting to something much deeper than weather. Kenji's memories started to blur. Pieces of moments he never remembered living. A stormy night, a road through the forest, a mistake, a door, a scream, but none of it was clear. It felt like trying to remember a dream that was never yours. Then the small door slowly started to open, just a few centimeters. Behind it, nothing but darkness. A darkness so deep it didn't look like an absence of light. It looked like something alive. The whisper returned again, closer than ever. "Come back inside the rain." Kenji stepped forward, not because he wanted to, but because he felt like he had done it before, many, many times. Kenji stepped into the darkness. The air changed. It wasn't cold, it wasn't warm. It felt wrong, like the air had weight. The house behind him vanished. No walls, no ceiling, no light, only the sound of rain. But this rain wasn't outside. It was everywhere, falling upward, sideways, inside him. Images started to appear around him like shadows made of water. He saw himself, younger, driving through the forest during a violent storm, terrified, lost, panicking. The same yellow light appeared between the trees, the same house, the same door, but this time, he didn't knock. He was pulled toward it, hands formed from rain, faces without eyes, mouths without voices. They dragged him inside. Another image formed. Kenji inside the house before, looking at the photos, touching the mirror, opening the small door, again and again and again. He realized then he had been here before, many times. Each storm, each time he forgot, each time the house erased his memory, each time he walked away believing he had escaped. The whisper spoke clearly now, not cruel, not angry, just tired. This is not a house. It is a place where lost people are kept, Kenji felt the rain inside him begin to slow. He saw one final vision, the future photo, not of a grave, but of him standing calmly in the rain, looking at the house, not afraid, not confused, not trapped, waiting and accepting. The darkness began to pull him back toward the doorway, back toward the room he first entered, back toward the ending he had lived so many times before. The last thing he heard before the world turned silent was the sound of the front door opening. Kenji woke up on the forest road. The rain had stopped, the wind was quiet. The night sky was calm, as if nothing strange had ever happened. His clothes were wet, his skin was cold, but his mind felt empty, like a book with missing pages. There was no house, no light between the trees, no footprints in the mud, only silence. Kenji slowly stood up and walked back toward the main road. He didn't feel fear. He didn't feel relief. He felt normal. Days passed, weeks passed. Life returned to its routine, but something had changed. Sometimes when Kenji looked at old photos of himself, he didn't remember the moment they were taken. Sometimes he woke up in the middle of the night feeling like he had knocked on a door in a dream, and sometimes he could smell rain even when the sky was clear. Far away, deep in the forest, something still waits. The house does not decay. It does not age. It does not disappear forever. It only sleeps, waiting for the next storm, waiting for someone who has been lost before, waiting for someone who will feel that pull in their chest and follow the light again. If you ever find yourself lost in a forest during heavy rain and see a warm yellow light between the trees, do not trust the door. Do not trust the warmth. And whatever you do not knock. Because once you enter that house, a part of you will always stay inside.